What if cancer could be detected before a tumor even exists? Not when doctors see it on a scan, but when the very first abnormal cells start behaving differently. Surprisingly, some physicists believe this might be possible using quantum sensor inside diamonds, and this sensor will go directly inside our body. Well, working from inside was already an idea back in the 1966, imagining that we could shrink ourselves and travel inside the human body, like in the famous film. Early detection is one of the most important factors in successfully treating cancer. In many cases, the earlier a disease is detected, the better the chance of treatment and survival. But there is a fundamental limitation in current medical imaging technologies. Those technologies typically detect tumors only when they have grown large enough to be visible. By that point, millions or even billions of abnormal cells might already be present. So the question is, could we detect the earliest signals of cancer much sooner? This is where quantum physics enters the story. Researchers are currently developing devices called quantum sensors. Those sensors use the strangest property of quantum systems to measure extremely small signals that would normally be impossible to detect with classical instruments. One particular promising approach involves tiny defects inside diamonds. At first glance, diamonds might seem an unusual tool for medical diagnostics, but at the atomic level, diamonds can host special defects known as nitrogen vacancy centers, often called NV centers. In simple terms, these happen when one carbon atom in the diamond lattice is replaced by one nitrogen atom, and the neighboring carbon atom is missing. This tiny imperfection creates a very special quantum system inside the crystal. The electrons trapped in the defect behave like a small quantum spin that can be controlled using lasers and microwaves. And most importantly, this quantum system is extremely sensitive to magnetic fields. In fact, NV centers in diamonds can detect magnetic signals that are billions of times weaker than the Earth's magnetic field. Now here is where biology becomes relevant. Inside our body, many biological processes produce extremely small magnetic signals. So electrical activity in neurons, chemical reaction in cell and metabolic process all generate tiny electromagnetic signatures. Normally, these signals are incredibly difficult to measure, but quantum sensors might be sensitive enough to detect them. Cancer cells often behave differently from healthy cells. Their metabolism changes, their molecular activity changes, and the chemical reaction happening inside them can be different. This difference might produce a small variation in the electromagnetic environment around the cells. In principle, quantum sensor could detect those subtle changes long before a tumor becomes large enough to be visible in medical imaging. Instead of detecting the tumor itself, we might detect the earliest physical signals produced by the abnormal cells. This is why researchers are investigating quantum diamond sensor as potential tool for ultra-early disease detection. However, it's important to be realistic. This technology is still largely in the research phase. While quantum diamond sensors have demonstrated extremely sensitive in laboratories, turning them into practical medical device remains a major challenge. Engineers must develop systems that are reliable, affordable, and capable of working in complex biological environments. So quantum sensor will not replace doctors anytime soon, but they might eventually become powerful tools that helps doctors detect diseases earlier and understand biological process with unprecedented precision. And in many years this reflects a broader transformation happening in physics. For decades, quantum mechanics was considered purely theoretical field, something that described atom and particle, but seemed far removed from everyday life. Today, however, quantum technologies are beginning to move from labs into real-world application. Quantum computing, quantum communication, quantum sensing might soon transform fields ranging from cybersecurity to medicine. And perhaps one day a tiny defect in the diamond, an almost invisible imperfection at the atomic scale, could help doctors detect one of the most dangerous diseases earlier than ever before. Sometimes the most powerful technologies comes from the smallest imperfection in nature. Please, if you like the show, drop a like, subscribe the channel, and this will help other people to find the channel and know more about physics. Thanks and bye bye.